Hi there, welcome back. In last week's video, we promised that if we got enough people requesting, we would show you how to configure Portainer to manage Kubernetes clusters. We have a different way for installing Portainer. We are using a Docker Compose file and we have made changes to it so that you can use this for more advanced Kubernetes features. The instructions for this video can be found in our blog. Please have a look down below for the link. So let's open our blog page. We have provided you with a link to the Portainer Documentation, which we recommend that you read. In addition to that, we've provided a link to show you how Portainer works with Kubernetes. And finally, this link. For those who are using homelabs, more specifically a Proxmox homelab, and you are running Docker in there as well as a Kubernetes cluster in there, then this information is what you need to do this installation. To save you time going through this information, we have summarized it and provided that information in our blog. Now let's get our hands dirty. This is our Proxmox server. Here we have our LXC container where we install Docker. And here we have our master node for our Kubernetes cluster. We need to open the console of our LXC container. And to log in as root, if you haven't done that, this is the command sudo su dash. However, since we are already root, that's fine. Now we need to create Portainer in our stacks folder. If you've already done that, that's fine. Then we need to open this folder. And now we have a new Docker Compose file. So you use our favorite editor and it's compose.yaml. And then go to our instructions and copy this, the whole thing. You can click on here. However, we've been testing, so we already have that there. And then you would paste that in there. We're not going to do that. And then save it with Control S, Control X. And then you will start this in detached mode. So you will run this command, docker compose up -d. Don't forget -d. We are not going to do that as this is already running. Then go back to our instructions and open this section here. You will open this with this URL. This is your server's IP address, :9000. However, we are going to use this link as we have registered a domain for our server. And we are in. Let's close this. You will now expand this, and you're now looking for the environment-related section. Open that, click Environments. Now we're going to add a new environment. So to the left, I'm just moving this so that you can see it. You click this button here, and we are going to select this option here. And then you start the wizard. You will now click on Agent and give this a name. And when you click here, it will detect the server. As you can see, it's done that. Now copy this URL, click this command. Now we need to open an SSH session to our Kubernetes master node, that IP address there. So let's do that. and we need to be root. Let's clear the screen. Let's check if the cluster is up and the master node is up. Now we paste our command in there. Having done that, we can now close this and then press connect. This will take a while. And you can see here we have a new environment. Now click home. And let's click this. And there we are. We've connected to our Kubernetes cluster. And as you can see, we have an ingress there. And it's giving us the port 80, and it's a Nginx ingress. This came as standard with the K3S Kubernetes. Let's go back to the cluster. Now we are ready to work with our Kubernetes cluster. So if you click here, there are different things that you can change and add and manage. So let's start with namespaces. You can see there's a default namespace. We could create our own namespace, either from code or from a form. This is nice because normally you would use kubectl create namespace as a command. It provides you with a form to simplify that. So let's open that. And let's call it Nikos. And now we can create the namespace. And there you are. We've got our namespace. If we go to the networking section, you can see there we have services. And these services are currently running. The Kubernetes is running and the Nginx is running. This is our proxy server, and it's opened on port 80. So that means that we are opening port 80 externally to the internet. And we can click on ingresses, and there you can see we have an Nginx ingress, which is opening our Kubernetes cluster to the internet via port 80. Let's have a look at clusters. Here you can see the details of the cluster. It's giving us CPU usage and memory usage and memory reservation. So we haven't created registries, so let's click here. But you can do that, and you can also set security constraints on this. You can use various things like LDAP, or you can use username and password. There are a lot of different things you can do. And if you had connected your Portainer to a AKS Kubernetes cluster, you would be able to use the security that Microsoft Azure provides. That is, of course, if you want to do that. It's all available in here. I'm just mentioning that so that you can get the idea that this thing is quite sophisticated, and this is probably the best Kubernetes manager out there. Even applications, you can deploy with the Kubernetes manifest. You can create it from a form. So if you click here, it gives you all the details you need to create a Kubernetes manifest to deploy the application. Even the replicas, in other words, if you want to have more than one pod when you deploy this, then you could set this to 2 or 3 or whatever. So as you can see, this is quite a sophisticated and probably the best tool that you could use to manage your Kubernetes cluster in your home lab. And this will give you a lot of experience working with this tool if you are learning DevOps and you need to get experience, especially working with Kubernetes clusters, which are rather difficult to do. The kubectl commands are very tricky. And if you click on dashboard, you have everything in one place. You can manage your volumes, your config maps, your secrets, your ingresses. You can create Kubernetes manifests using forms instead of trying to handcraft files and maybe get things wrong in there. This will do it right. You can manage your namespaces as you saw, and with services, we could see these are the services running. So this makes an excellent tool to use for your home lab and even to use for your business. We trust you found this interesting. Please give us a like. It costs nothing to click the like button, but for us it will make a very big difference. Although we have exceeded 1,000 subscribers, we have not met our target of 6,000 hours. Now we have a tradition in our channel that we greet you in 6 languages. Baie dankie, tot ziens. Grazie mille, ami, ciao. Yasu sinaderfe. Hinda Pulanis. Auf Wiedersehen, mein Freund. Namaste. Namaskar. Domo arigato tomodachi. Sayonara.